everybody, it's Icy Viewing here. We're doing another daily Bedwars, and I'm going to tell you guys a fun little story about how Andrew Tate won me a debate match, and that's not a bit. I'm going to start this off by saying I hate Andrew Tate. I think he's a slime of a person, personally. But he has, in fact, won me a match in debate, and I will go fully in depth on that. So, to start, I was in debate and speech. It's called debate and speech specifically because, you know, there are students who do debates and go back and forth and blah, 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 blah. And there's the speech categories, where people, like, give speeches about certain subjects or whatever. I participated in speech categories because I felt even though I was very argumentative at times, I felt I was really good at one specific speech category. And that speech category was called extemporaneous speaking. Now, what is extemporaneous speaking, you may ask? Extemporaneous speaking is basically just procrastinating, but extra steps. So, let me elaborate. What quote-unquote you're supposed to do with extemporaneous speaking is you're supposed to gather a bunch of resources about very broad subjects before the tournament. You're supposed to get a lot of subjects about things like Eastern Europe or Florida education, for example. Those are kind of the ones that you're supposed to get the sources around. And it's supposed to be about basically anything regarding that subject is something that you're supposed to prepare for. And then when you get to the tournament, you have half an hour to write a 7-minute speech using only the sources that you gathered about a question they will ask about said subject. Oh, it's really not an Icy Viewing video without me somehow failing a freaking speed bridge. These new touchpad controls are screwing me up, but okay, back to the subject. But that's what extemporaneous speaking is. The closer you research to the actual tournament itself, the more likely what you research is going to be the subject of the questions at the tournament. So basically, the idea is to get all your sources very, like, last second so that you are more likely to have sources that are in the tournament. That's kind of the idea. And that's kind of what appealed to me so much because, as we all know, I am a lazy piece of shit. Like, such an incredibly lazy piece of shit. Like, come on. I don't think there is many people out here who are lazier than I am. I was later proven wrong by, like, the next year's extemporaneous speech guy, but he also was terrible at extemporaneous speech. He was just lazy. He wasn't even good at being lazy, but that's beside the point. You guys want to hear about how Andrew Tate won me a debate round, so we're gonna get in on that. So, one of the subjects for this upcoming tournament that I was going to, one of the subjects was Eastern Europe. And at the time, when I was researching Eastern Europe, guess which man had recently been arrested in Eastern Europe? That's right, it was Andrew Tate. Now, did I actually think that this man was going to show up in a place of academic, scholarly, whatever bullshit? No, I didn't actually think that. However, I wanted to be an amusing little shit to my debate coach, who undoubtedly got probably a couple gray hairs from me specifically. So basically, I wanted to give my debate coach, you know, a little bit of a headache, because I always do, because, you know, I'm just a piece of shit. I was a piece of shit in high school. And I was like, oh, I am researching, when he was trying to get on me about not researching. I was like, no, I am researching. See, I'm looking at Andrew Tate's arrest records. He's like, I guarantee you, Andrew Tate is not going to be one of the subjects of this debate speech, or of this debate meet. And I said, I will bet you $5 whole that he is. And the thing is my coach actually took that bet. My coach took the bet of $5 to Andrew Tate not being a subject of the debate meet. And, you know, I got, to my credit, I actually did get actual sources on Andrew Tate. I did research and use all the resources I could on that. So I did actually research. But the day comes for the debate meet, right? I'm here, I'm getting all my sources ready because you had to have them all printed out. You couldn't keep them on your computer because you weren't allowed to use the internet like while you were in that debate room. You were only allowed to use the sources that you had. You weren't allowed to do like anything else there. So I fully went in with my sources. not expecting to use anything on Andrew Tate. I wasn't expecting anything like that because why would I? It's Andrew Tate. What business does he have in any sort of academic or scholarly sense? Other than, you know, being shown, hey, this is what human stupidity looks like. Like, this is, if you're behaving like this, then you're really dumb. So, I get to this round. I had already completed one round. One round was pretty easily done. I get to the next round. I pull out the questions. This is the Eastern Europe round, because we had 3 general broad questions. This was the Eastern European, like, broad question round. I get to it. I open the envelope that contains one of 2 questions we could pick. And one of the 2 questions that fucking existed was, is Andrew Tate's rearrest and detention in Romania justified in any sense of the word? Or is it justified, basically? And I go, there's no fucking way. And I immediately chose that question. Did I have more sources on the other one? Yes. But I chose that question. And the funniest part is I fucking won the round. I won the round. I chose Andrew Tate as a speech subject on, calling him a terrible human being, and that he deserved to stay locked up in a Romanian prison.